In a couple of weeks, we celebrate the appearance of the great transcendental personality, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, or sometimes known, or often known, as Gauranga, or Lord Gauranga. So we're going to celebrate here. It's on the full moon, Friday the 18th, and so it'll be a lovely celebration, and with lots of chanting. And we're actually going to do something we haven't done since before COVID, and have a meal as well. Curry and rice. Keeping it simple. A delicious curry and rice. So Lord Chaitanya, so I thought I'd speak about Lord Chaitanya for the next few weeks, so you can learn a little bit about him. So around 530 odd years ago, Lord Chaitanya appeared in Navadvip in India. And even from the moment of his appearance, we find it difficult to comprehend that God will appear in this world. You know, it's kind of like this world's ours. You know, it's like, why would God come here? But we came here. Right? We come in body after body after body, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and we don't even think about that. We don't see that as an issue, right? You know, in each body we come here and we have, it's different, you know. I might have had a dog body last lifetime. If I'm not careful, I get a pig one next time, or whatever it might be, you know. It's like, you know, we take on different bodies according to our mentality, according to our desires and our karma. And so we play out different roles. But the Supreme Person is not like us. He comes here by choice to come and invite us back home to the spiritual world. So we're immersed in our lives, and you know, all the goings on and the craziness and the upheavals and everything, right? We just kind of get so caught in our own lives that it's very difficult for us to look out and see a bigger picture, and to see an even bigger picture of, you know, longer than just this lifetime, right? It's kind of beyond our ability, beyond our mental ability to kind of conceive of more chapters than this one. This is enough. Do you know what I mean? This one might be going hard enough, you know. So when Krishna has compassion and love for all of us. So some of us might like to think we have some compassion for others, and hopefully we all do. You know, it's one of the spiritual qualities is compassion. Another one is love and empathy and care. They're all spiritual qualities of the soul, right? They're not material qualities. And so we get those qualities from God. He has them in unlimited quantity, and we get a small quantity that we need to increase if we want the world to be a better place. If we want our lives to be better, and we want this world to be a better place, we need to grow those qualities of love, compassion, tolerance, kindness, care, compassion. The Lord Chaitanya is considered to be the greatest scholar in all of India. He's more than just a scholar. And he only wrote 8 verses. And so one of these verses that describes, and my spiritual teachers asked his disciples and students to actually say this prayer every day to help remind us. So it is, one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself to be lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. So a humble state of mind is considered to be an essential quality in spiritual life if a person wants to try and develop spiritually, humility is huge on the list. So for us to be able to chant the names of God in a humble state of mind, devoid of all sense of false prestige, of feeling like I know everything, or I'm really good at this, or I'm really good at that, or, you know, look at that person there, or that person's not like this, or whatever it might be. Those kind of things don't help us in our spiritual life. And when we want to grow our, what's called like a little creeper of love for God that's there in the core of our heart, we need to have humility to listen to somebody else, to listen to their view on things, and to humbly reply, not aggressively, not with animosity, but actually try to work things out. And even if it just means we agree to disagree, but kindly, with humility, to have the humility to know that I don't know everything, the humility to admit that I was wrong about something. And a friend of mine, I've mentioned this before, used to have on her Skype message thing at the top was don't spoil an apology with an excuse, which I think is just amazing. So it's like to have the humility to apologize without going, yes, but I did it because, you know, then it's kind of like, you know, I had a reason for it. So that's not really being humbly accepting that maybe it wasn't quite so kind or so nice or so thoughtful or whatever it might have been. So humility is really important in our life to be able to move forward in any field, but especially in spiritual life. To have the humility to ask questions and to, like you mentioned earlier, just to acknowledge I don't know everything. But at the same time, really important that we're careful and we're reflective. So that if we're humbly inquiring, what is this world about? Why am I here? What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to help others in some way? You know, when we're doing that, we also need to be careful because none of us want to be exploited. We don't want to be used. But we should also, you know, really be humble. And the world wouldn't be in this crazy mess, or the floods would still be there, but you know, the other chaos and confusion that's in the world wouldn't be there if we actually developed more humility and more ability or desire to work things out, to even compromise. I might think my way's best, but it's not worth having a fight over, you know. Let's see if we can find a compromise. Let's see if we can find a way where we can move forward peacefully. And if we're not able to do that in situations that come up in our life, then we can't expect on the world stage for things to be any different than they are. Right? And there's another thing that Lord Chaitanya taught is that, you know, we're spiritual beings. You know, we're all part and parcel of God. And so how can I hate somebody or treat someone poorly just because they come from a different country, or they speak a different language, or they look different, or maybe they worship in a different way? You know, all these things are like, they're superficial things. We need to get to the core and actually learn to have some tolerance. Lord Chaitanya said, tolerant as a tree. You know, a tree's got to stand there. Like we've got a huge elm tree next door, and we've got a big neem tree in our backyard. And a neem tree is a really auspicious tree. In Australia they're called white cedar, and they're in some, like I live in the eastern suburbs, some of the street trees are white cedar, and they have this little ball, but it's neem. And one of the names of Lord Chaitanya, It's Nimai, when he was a child, because he was born beneath the neem tree. We just happened to have been fortunate to have a neem tree in our backyard, apart from all the sticky balls it drops. And so, being humble and tolerant in a tree, it's like it's been really windy and the trees are just blowing, and we've got possums and they jump in the trees, and the trees just, people next door got dogs, they probably do their business against the tree. So the tree just handles it, right? It's got to. It's just got to be tolerant. And so for us, if we can learn to have some more tolerance and more humility, it'll do wonders for our spiritual life. So there's a beautiful description here of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was really tall. So, when he would lead congregational chanting, he travelled right throughout India and taught chanting wherever he went. And even through the forest where there's all the wild animals. And the wild animals are described at one time when he was travelling through a forest. There was a herd of wild tigers and elephant, and there were deer also. And they peacefully accompanied Lord Chaitanya as he was travelling through the forest, and he was chanting the whole time. Because in the heart of those creatures is Krishna, and in the heart there's the spirit soul. And the spirit soul is just like, finally, transcendental sound after lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes have been in the material world. And finally I'm hearing some spiritual sound, some transcendental sound that's actually touching my heart. So even the animals were able to be peaceful. So it describes everybody was so attracted to Lord Chaitanya's beauty. The luster of Lord Chaitanya's expansive body resembles molten gold, which is why he's called Gauranga. Gauranga means golden. The deep sound of his voice conquered the thundering of newly assembled clouds. His face is as beautiful as the moon. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower. His limbs are beautiful and his arms are long. He is peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental loving service of Lord Sri Krishna. He is affectionate towards his devotees. He is gentle and equally disposed towards all living beings, not just those that we like, right? He's anointed with the pulp of cooling, aromatic sandalwood pulp, and is decorated with glorious bangles and armlets. The two syllables, Krishna, are always upon his mouth, and he constantly describes Krishna with great love. Raising his arms, chanting the holy names, and looking full of love towards all, he drives away all inauspiciousness and floods everyone with love for the Supreme Person, Lord Sri Krishna. So our hearts can be burning with anxiety or fears or stresses, or whatever. Anxieties are, so many causes for anxiety. But if we're able to take our mind and rest it in these transcendental sounds, the names of Krishna, then our hearts will feel more and more at peace. We'll feel more love and compassion and understanding. And the names Krishna will be in our mind and on our heart and on our lips. And when we see others, we will see them as another spirit soul, another child of Krishna, and we'll be able to love them unconditionally and not fight with them because of any reason, and no reason to fight. There's a lot of reasons to love and no reasons to fight. It's not the nature of the soul to fight. The nature of the soul is to love God, and to let our love expand to all living beings. So this is the message of Lord Chaitanya, and all the great spiritual teachers pass it down for us to take. They invite us, please take this, apply it in your life, so you can become happy. They don't get anything out of it, right? You're not selling it, it's offering it. Please take the names of Krishna into your heart and be happy and peaceful. Thank you.